Good morning or good afternoon, whatever time you guys are listening to this. Welcome back to another edition of the Layman's AI podcast. I am Adam.
And my name is Brian.
And Brian, I want to welcome you back. Seems like it has been a hot minute since we've recorded. And you know what? Maybe we should tell everybody where we were and what we were doing. So,
Yeah, maybe
yeah,
so. I mean, we've been on vacation.
that's
We
right.
each took our own vacation. The first week you were on vacation, next week I was on vacation because you know what? We're both grown adults with families and we need vacations. So I uh
Absolutely. We need
I
vacations.
definitely needed to unwind and yeah, actually taking a little break from podcasting,
Yeah.
recording kind of helped out a little bit as well. Which kind of ties into, what we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah, but that's later on. I'm still on
Yeah.
vacation. But Brian, where did
Okay.
you take your family on vacation? Let's let our listeners know.
Oh, we went to Disney World
Wow.
in August. I can tell you right now, it is true. It is as hot as they say it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fried
Yeah.
for a while. So we spent a week there. We did get to cool off in the pool a little bit, and they actually have saltwater pools now instead of chlorine pools. I don't know if you've heard of the
Oh.
saltwater pool trend. It was actually very nice, but yeah, not only did we enjoy the pool, we enjoyed the parks, and yeah, had some good food there too.
All right. So
I have younger children, so they really got the experience of it.
that's awesome. Okay, Brian, here we go. Here's just a general question for you,
Okay.
non-AI related, but
Yeah.
who is your favorite Disney character?
Oof. Chewbacca, if you can call him a
Oh,
Disney character.
I think you
Uh, um,
can.
I mean, Disney owns Star Wars now, and
Yeah.
Chewbacca's my favorite Star Wars character.
All
I
right.
just, I just love Wookiees. If you want traditional Disney characters, I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite, but
Hmm.
maybe Simba. Simba was one of the ones from my childhood
Ah,
who really tore it up a lot. So I can go with a little bit of Simba action. The Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland's another one that I really like. That dude was just weird, but in an awesome way.
yeah, I think is there. It's so. I don't know if this is rumor or not, but I've always been told that Alice in Wonderland there was a lot of may have been. This is rumor, speculation. There may have been a lot of drugs involved in the writing of that one. I don't know if that's
Uh,
accurate or
y-
not.
it's based on a very old book, and someone might have been writing it up in an old school opium den.
Oh.
To be honest with you, I can't confirm anything, but I can't deny it either. So,
Yeah, we're not going to start any rumors, but
nope,
I'm sure this isn't the first time some of our listeners have heard something like that.
absolutely not. Adam, where'd you go on vacation?
Oh, well, I did almost two vacations. We did end up in Florida, just like you, except we were there in late July before you got
Ooh,
there. And I cannot say enough how right you are that it is hot.
mm-hmm.
Uh, it is Lucifer's palace, if you get the biblical reference there.
Oh
But
yeah,
it is hot, hot, hot. And I ended up in a town I'd never been to before called Bonita Springs,
never
which
heard of
is
it.
it's in between Fort Myers and Naples. What a beautiful area of Florida, though. I mean that in all
Mm-hmm.
sincerity. It was hot, but we enjoyed our time. We were actually there for a really awesome thing. I'm gonna call it a thing, even though it was much bigger than that. I have a son who is type 1 diabetic, and he's
Okay.
also a hockey player. And through this hockey camp that we went to, it was strictly for type 1 diabetes hockey players. There was over 120 hockey players from across the country at this camp. Type 1 timer is what it was called. It was an amazing camp, an amazing experience. It really made me reflect on learning because even though I'm on vacation, you get
Mm-hmm.
to talk to other parents who have children with type 1 and what they do to prep for hockey games and what you get to do to prep for hockey games and talking
Mm-hmm.
about numbers and blood sugars and this and that. It was just a great opportunity. It was very exciting. And we were able to, because it's in Bonita Springs, we were able to tie on a vacation to that. And
There you go.
afterwards, we swung up to my old place where I used to live outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. We stayed there
Very
for another
nice.
few days. Yep, loved it. Got to talk to one of our listeners. One of our devoted listeners was
Really?
asking us questions. Yes, when we look for the one person in North Carolina that's listening all the time, it's him, and he was listening. So he was just
Yeah.
asking us about it, and
Personal friend of yours, or
yes, so yes, I've known
okay,
him for a long time. Yeah, it seems like
okay,
forever. Yeah, got our master's degrees together. Great guy.
okay. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be recognized on the streets anytime soon, but hey, that's okay. That's okay.
Oh, that'd be something.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
That'd be something. But anyways, the highlight of my trip, as I was telling you earlier, is I got to ride the best roller coaster of my life, and that's saying something considering that you and I grew up just an hour from Cedar Point.
Yeah.
So yeah, for those of you that are in the South, if you're a roller coaster enthusiast, you've got to get to Carowinds in Charlotte or outside of Charlotte. It's in North Carolina and South Carolina.
Okay.
The border is actually in the middle of the park, but there is a ride there called Fury 325, and this is not AI related. This is just pure fun. That was the most exciting roller coaster I've ever been on in my life.
Oh, nice.
No, it was. It was. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
All right. Do you think everybody wants to stop hearing about our vacation?
I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we should do a vacation podcast and talk about like vacationing. But maybe that's for another time or day.
Yeah, maybe that's the
But
next podcast we do.
yeah, either way, so now that we're back from vacation, not only did we take a vacation from our lives, but
Hmm.
we also took a vacation from AI itself, which goes
Yeah.
into the topic of AI, taking a break from AI and disconnecting from it. And it
Hmm.
actually helped me kind of revitalize a little bit, as far as how I use AI, what I want out of my AI and everything. And I'm actually kind of excited to get back into it because, once you disconnect from the technical world a little bit, the internet, as they say.
Hmm.
There's like it's two different worlds. The internet is not a real place. I think Dave Chappelle said that very valiantly. It's like, don't think the internet's a real place. And it's unfortunate that like, news networks and people actually start to feel like the internet is actually a real place when it isn't. And a lot of it is actually AI generated now. I think there's been some studies out. Um, so much bot created content throughout social media and on the internet in general. We'd have to actually do an episode about that,
Hmm.
as far as to find out how much bot content is or AI is using AI bots really creating content and
Creating content.
everything
Yeah.
and everything. And you know what? It actually kind of brought me back to the real world a little bit, and I'm happy, to disconnect from all that. Definitely gonna get back into it now.
Yep.
But I realize, we don't need this. I think is sort of like the takeaway. It is not needed. It's a
Right.
good thing to have, but there's no requirement for your life to have AI.
I'd have to agree. I was telling you beforehand, this was actually the since I discovered AI, this was the longest I'd gone without using it. I'm talking
Hmm.
over 12 days. My vacation was a week and a half when all was said and done, approximately a week and a half, and it was the longest vacation I'd ever been on. I hardly checked my email. If you follow us on LinkedIn, you'll know we hardly posted. Even when I got back from vacation, I still continued my I'm not using AI yet. I'm not going on social media as much yet. I was still enjoying the getting back into work, getting back into the habit, enjoying time when I got home with my kids. And I got to admit, I learned a few things and I loved the
Hmm.
break. And I did not have any anxiety that I even thought I would get, even though I tell people don't get this anxiety of, oh no, I'm falling behind. I didn't watch any YouTube videos this week or today, even on what's going on in AI. I'm behind. I'm behind. I didn't get any of that. And when I was ready to get back into the swing of things, I simply put on one episode and I got caught up really quickly. After one YouTube
Hmm.
video, I said, "Oh, looks like I'm caught up pretty quickly. I didn't miss that
Oh
much."
yeah.
Um, Noticed some other amazing things too. I am now back engaged with AI,
Hmm.
and I will tell you, my prompting is better now than it was before my vacation.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very purposeful with it. I'm thinking better in terms of how to provide context. I think it's kind of like a golf swing. When you haven't done it in a while and you get back into golfing, you're making sure that
Hmm.
your head's down, your shoulders are square, that your swing is appropriate. You're not trying to kill the ball, you're just trying to make contact and keep your head down. I think that's what
Yeah.
prompting's like when you take a time away from it and then all of a sudden you get back to doing it.
Hmm.
And I'm doing it better now. I am laughing at
Okay.
how I'm better at identifying what context is needed. I am not
Hmm.
using Flomped right now very much because I feel like what I'm putting together is working very well.
Yeah.
It's been a great find for myself. Maybe I need to take more of a break sometimes. Maybe I should say the last 4 days of the month I'm not touching AI, like just not touching it.
Yeah. I think yeah, flaunting, we've done an episode on flaunting
Hmm.
before. I've started to kind of realize that you don't need it for everything. It's good for like complex tasks. Like if you're
Yeah.
asking AI to put documents together or anything like complex and repetitive. But I think like when we started to get into Flompt, we started to think that, oh, this is what we need to do all the time and everything.
Yes.
And you start to like kind of depend on, a machine to talk to your machine, to have a machine output and everything. And you're trying to become a machine, you're a human being. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's what we need to realize, and I think what society needs to realize is like we're still human beings, we're not machines, and we need to, stop acting like machines and what have you. And I think when you step back from Flomp a little bit, you realize it has its place. And I think, just like AI has its place and everything, and it's not as prevalent as a necessity as we think it is. So I think that's kind of like, my whole take on Flomping and what have you. But yeah, as far as prompting is concerned, I'm starting to become less dependent on it and everything. I'm
Hmm.
using it to guide me along a little bit better. I've been hitting my garden hard this week because
I saw
it's
some pictures.
yeah, middle of August, and it's harvest time for a
Yeah.
lot of things, and a lot of my herbs are turning into seed full blast. So I'm gonna have to take care of that right now. But we're taking care of that right now. But
Yeah.
I was picking my herbs and I wasn't even looking at a smartphone. I wasn't looking at AI or anything. And I'm like, I'm just picking my herbs. Let's
Right.
just like start picking the herbs and, kind of getting that reset or what have you. And it kind of makes you realize that, you don't need AI for everything. And I think a lot of companies are starting to realize this too, is that
Hmm.
while it has its place in your life and in society, you don't need to jump right to AI just to do something. And I think like kind of taking that vacation and just disconnecting kind of helps you find yourself a little bit. And I think that's just
Yeah.
vacationing in general and everything. And
I think
this
so.
kind of goes along with the AI. Like we're kind of getting a little repetitive here, but that's just
No,
kind
but
of our thoughts and
I
everything.
like what you're saying because you're bringing up a good mental health technique, even though this isn't exactly it. But when you were talking about just being alone in your garden, just picking basil, I'm assuming, or
Hmm.
your thyme or whatever it is that you're picking. I'm just assuming it's
Well,
basil because I've seen the
well,
picture.
yeah. Well, the
Yeah,
basil took over the thyme and the chives, and now I don't have chives or thyme. I just have
yeah.
sweet Italian basil and Thai basil. So
All right, so you got an option.
yes,
Um,
exactly.
but you're talking about this. We have this term, and it's called grounding. And I'm not sure if it's
Hmm.
a placebo effect or not. I don't have that kind of a background, but I have enough people mention it. It's basically, Brian, you walk outside and you're barefoot and you walk in grass for about 2 minutes.
Hmm.
And supposedly that helps your mind clear up because all you're doing is grounding yourself to the earth. Um,
Yeah, I think that's a lot more psychological,
but if
as
it
far as
works,
you're
it
concerned.
works.
Yeah, no, it definitely works. I mean, a lot of that stuff is psychological, but I see people like try to put together like electronic circuits within your brain help, blah blah blah, and all like kind of like a scientific explanation. But if you just spend time outside and just with nature, it does reset your brain a little bit, and it does kind of
It
help
definitely
you
does.
sort of relax. And maybe walking barefoot, you kind of it feels different. Like you're not in shoes all the time. Personally, I prefer walking around barefoot. I'm kind of a hippie slash caveman in that sense.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I don't really mind it too well. But yeah, I think like, going back to the gardening thing, I have ideas for my garden now just because I'm looking at the plants and everything. And, some of this stuff is out of control. And I'm like, okay, now what if I try this? And I wasn't even like looking at AI. I was just thinking all this to myself and everything. So now I'm like thinking, how can I plant my tomatoes better? How can I do the herbs better? How can I, do the whole garden and everything better? And now I have ideas inside my head and everything. And now I'm like, okay, now that I have these ideas inside my head disconnected from AI, maybe I can go back to AI and sort of like put my thoughts into there of like kind of like everything I thought about going forward with my garden. And now that can help round out my ideas and what have you. So now, my real life is kind of helping me feed my AI tools a little bit better.
And all you did was essentially take a break, do something you enjoyed
Hmm.
in nature, which I think there's a big component there. I got to get back into hiking. I'm losing the weather is in my
Hmm.
favor. I got to get back to it because that'll help me get to that vacation state of blocking out.
Yeah,
what's going on. All
exactly.
the stuff from work, all the AI stuff, all the SpaceX and all the other stuff that's going on right now. We'll be able to block it out a little easier. And I think that's a big takeaway for tonight. I know we've beat it home uh,
Yeah.
pretty substantially, but sometimes you just need to take a break. And the best part is, you and I don't feel behind. I know I've already said
No.
that. We don't feel like we missed anything. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if anything, I feel like I needed that break just so I could recognize. I told you this beforehand. I used to be a ChatGPT boy, fanboy. Then you and I slowly became Claude fanboys. And
Hmm.
I got to admit, after taking this break, I still kept ChatGPT. I'm starting to find that it's working more efficiently. Maybe that's because I'm prompting better, but the updates that have gone on in the time I've been away from it or haven't focused on it are
Hmm.
clearly better than what I remember. And I'm
Yeah.
noticing it could do more with a shorter prompt. And I'm pretty
Yeah.
excited about that. As simple as that may be, it truly helped me redesign an AI ethics training that I had to give to my staff. It truly helped me redesign it and found better examples for me of how to explain things in layman's terms. So I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah. I just kind of wonder, like, also in that sense, do you think it's gotten better because it is better, or do you just depend less on AI right now, and therefore, like, you're asking it to do less? So, like, the lesser you ask it to do, it might be actually more efficient.
That's a good point because it wasn't necessarily that I was asking it to do less, is I was
Hmm.
looking for very specific. I gave it my previous examples that I used in the
Hmm.
trainings and asked it to come up with different examples in a table so I could
Hmm.
see the substitutes. So it was a very simple but short and to the point
Yeah.
task. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, that makes me wonder, like, we're doing these tasks now, and the idea is you have to use AI for your tasks now, with everything. And, as you're going through the task, you're like, okay, AI tool, AI tool, AI tool, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
hold on a sec. Now I'm going to do the task without the AI tools, and once you hit a roadblock, you go, okay, AI, help me out here. And now that you have more done yourself, and you're asking AI something more specific instead of like generalization. Like you said, you're asking to do more specific things.
Yeah.
And I think that's where sort of AI comes into play, is that if you ask it to do too many general things, it's going to start, hallucinating a lot easier. But if you
Absolutely.
get
Yeah.
like if you get down to the more specifics, like you said you were, now it's more efficient for you and
And
everything.
going full circle like an episode of Seinfeld,
Hmm.
since you brought that up, the carbon footprint of
Yeah,
using AI when you're more specific is much better because I did
yes.
not use as much tokens. I did not use as much data. I did not use as much processing power or compute powers. What's the computation power? I didn't
Yeah,
use it. I didn't use as much, which is better for everybody, data centers, environment, everybody. So,
exactly.
but that's true. It's
Exactly.
because we were not that I wasn't before, but I do feel like prior to my vacation, I was getting lazy with prompting
Oh yeah.
and had these unrealistic expectations that just because I provided you a ton of context, I was expecting a very good output.
Hmm.
I wasn't paying any attention to how I was wording my questions. I was
Yeah.
because I always want to make sure that the questions that I ask AI aren't leading questions because we all know that AI is designed to agree with you. And right
Yeah.
now, I've actually started to ask it to challenge my thinking on this. If I'm
Hmm.
thinking this, challenge my thinking. And usually I win the argument. But what I love is I sometimes come away with a takeaway that I didn't really think about until I saw it in a bullet point.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, kind of going full circle on all this. Did the vacation do this for us? I think it did, to be
I
honest with
do. I
you,
really do. Yeah.
because like you just escape your life. I mean, everybody needs a vacation. I think, in general, even without AI, you take a vacation, you reset your brain, you reset your head and everything like that. And you get back and now it's like, okay, I'm refreshed, ready to go and
Yeah.
everything. It's kind of like summer break. You just take your break from school and that first week of school, boom,
Yeah.
you're ready to go.
You get back into it.
You're ready to hit it. So I think
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's good. And it kind of makes you, like I said, sort of think, how much do we need it? And the less you need it, the better it could be. Um, it's like let's use a bad term like a drug addict. You do a drug and you're being taken into a new world. And the more you go into that world, the more you have to and
Yeah,
everything. And once you stop going into that world so much, you don't need to go in there as much anymore. And I think AI, in a way, could be a drug for a lot of people. Drug
absolutely.
could be all sort of relative and everything. So, now that we don't need it anymore, I think we can do some better projects and everything.
Right.
I'm thinking some project episodes are coming up. To be honest with you, I miss
I,
some of those.
I would like to see some stuff. I mean, if only so we get some really good Thanksgiving Day recipes or something along those lines again. That
Oh
was, I never did. I don't recall if I ever made those carrots or not, but I still have that in the back of my head that that recipe was awesome for carrots.
man, I need to go back and I need to do that. I need to do that Thanksgiving.
You really do. The timeline and everything is planned out for you, so you don't miss the Macy's Day Parade or the football games, of which are going to be
Exactly.
amazing this year. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah,
Always.
yeah,
So, but yeah, now we're walking down nostalgia lane. That's still one of my favorite AI uses of all time. If you want to go back, watch that episode. We're gonna bring it up on our socials again, just because we love the Thanksgiving spread. You and I both love it. It's my
we
favorite
did.
spread of
I
the
liked a
year.
lot of the
So,
holiday stuff we did, but that one took the cake.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We may do another Thanksgiving episode. I think we should do another Thanksgiving
Ooh,
episode actually.
kind of like that. Kind of like that.
Okay. Yeah, definitely, definitely. But yeah, now that the tools have improved, we can do a lot more right there. So, but yeah, either way, yeah, any more final thoughts from you, Adam? This is kind of a short episode, but I'm kind of enjoying that.
No, we're getting back into the swing of things. I'm glad we took a break. I guess my final thought is, I know some people maybe they don't have the time built up to take vacations right now, but I
Hmm.
think you and I also demonstrated it's not just about the vacation, it's also about just the taking a break from AI. It's
Hmm.
probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Take a week or two and just put it in the back corner.
Hmm.
Read, walk, go for a jog, swim if you can. If you
Exactly.
have kids, spend time with them. If you don't have kids, enjoy the money that you have. Yeah,
Yeah.
that stuff. But
Lucky mother. Nah.
yeah, in all honesty, like it's okay to take a break. You're not going to fall behind, and you might even appreciate it better when you get back to using it. So,
Yeah, I know.
that's my takeaway tonight.
I think like you kind of hit on the head. Like you think you're behind with AI. It's like what is behind with AI? Like all these tools are
Yeah,
here, and it's not as how should I say it? It doesn't live up to the hype, in my opinion. So, yeah, just kind of my final thought is you're a human.
hmm
You're not a machine. AI is a machine. You are a human that uses machines. And that's kind of my big takeaway right there is like once you start looking at AI and that perception right there, it's going to help you out a lot better. So,
right.
yeah, either way, I think that about wraps it up for us this evening. I'd like to give everybody a big thank you for taking your time out of your day to listen to us. My name is Brian,
And I'm Adam.
and you have been listening to the Layman's AI, and we will see you next time.